Management Research.
Hello and welcome to the Management Research podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Eugene. Hello and welcome to the next episode in my mini-series dedicated to the well-being in organization and in particular to burnout prevention using process management tools. Again, I don't use the name burnout in the description because it scares people off, and I would like you to pay some attention and maybe learn something interesting about how to establish your well-being, which would be the opposite of burnout. If you establish well-being in your family or in your organization or at your school, you will just get rid of the issues that may lead to burnout. And this is the goal of this podcast mini-series. As the initial recording was way too long, I decided to split this episode in two parts. Why did we take this theory, the job demands and job resources? Because of the resources. Because the business process management is the resourced organization. So it's actually the resource-based theory. It's not the resource-based view. But the nature of the theory, we have to outweigh supply and demand. We have to deliver the sufficient number of goods to the customer. So the customer has the demand, we have to offer the supply. Each machine on the conveyor belt has to have sufficient screws. So they have the demand for the screws and we need to deliver them. We have the demand to have the good there to be on time, and the previous machine has to deliver it on this time. So we think in process management in this outbalancing theory. It's called the equilibrium-oriented theories of matching the demand with the supply. And this is, by the way, the reason why we believe that the human has not been established in the business process management. In many theories, they have the human, but actually they treat it as externality. Business process management professionals, they claim it is the internality, that they have human in the system, but actually they don't. Because the theories they use are not compatible with the thinking of business process management. But the job demands and resources model gives us this commensurability, this compatibility. It also works with the resources. They are different, but it is about the resources. It's about the balance between them, between the psychological resources that the work demands from a person and the psychological resource that the work can give to people, and how to replenish them. And this makes the theory compatible with business process management, and this theory can also explain many things that we need to take as an externality. Let's take the motivation. We have the theory, self-determination theory of motivation or Herzberg theory of motivation. They all have a different point of thinking. They have different assumptions. First of all, they assume that individuals are not rational, they're boundedly rational, driven by their thoughts, driven by their emotions. And second, for instance, they are not equilibrium-oriented. You don't have to outweigh intrinsic motivation by extrinsic motivation. You can work with one of them. It's not a problem. You can work only intrinsically motivated and extrinsically. You can mix them, so it depends on what you are doing, but you are not driven by the supply demand, so you have different mechanisms working. The job demands and resources theory also allows to explain motivation through delivering you resources that you need, and having not too many requests, but interesting, challenging requests will lead to the motivation that will appear from this point of view. So we can use the term motivation, but now in a way that the process management professionals can use it, understand it, apply it, and expand it. However, this psychological view on job demands and job resources is a bit different. The resources are different. It's not a number of machines. It's not the number of just simple number of people. It's not about the number of tools. The psychological resources, they are different. They're reinforcing, self-developing, self-reflecting. If I tell you about the motivation, what it is, then your perception of the motivation will change and your motivation will change. If you know that a manager knows that the motivation should be created like this, you may start thinking, why is he or she not doing this? So your motivation will change just because you know that somebody knows this certain theory of motivation. And this makes this perception, so first of all, it makes the resources dynamic, and second, the perception plays a huge role here, which means that the individual plays a huge role here. It's not just a flow of a product as demanded from the customer and to the customer finally. It is about something different. We have now a lot of people and they are all unique and they all think in different ways. And that is why if we just define and design a process that works by the principle one size fits all, then most likely we will end up in the process that will be depleting the energy of employees just because it's not able to cope with them. Introducing the theory and explaining the theory to business process managers will help organize the processes better, will help include psychological and physiological resources in the same way as we include the working hours and certain skills for certain positions. If you want to obtain certain position, let's say you have to be an engineer and you have to have 8 hours of work. But actually you have also talents, you have some things that you have in mind that are also necessary. You have hobbies, you have desires, and these represent the job resources that you have, job resources that you bring to work. And this also shows what kind of job resources you would like to have from work. And this also shows us what are your capacity, what kind of psychological job demands we can expect from you at work. Just introducing these resources, just is not so simple, but imagine we get to there. Introducing these resources will allow you to develop the process that will lead to the highest degree of effectiveness because the customer will get what he or she wants, but also without depleting the energy of your employees and managers. With this in mind, I want to finalize my short explanation about the second chapter of our book, and we move on to the third one that we're going to talk about in the next episode. Wish you all the best. Thank you for being with me, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.